Okay, hello again. Now, the metaphors of a language, I said, the metaphors of a language are, when the words are used outside their dictionary meanings, it's called a metaphor. But in a metaphor, everyone should understand what you mean. You have a stone heart is a metaphor. Time is money is a metaphor. Everyone knows that a heart is not made of stone, but when you say that he has a stone heart, people will understand what you mean. Very cliche, my son is a lion is also a metaphor. Everybody knows that you can't have a son as a lion, but it's a metaphor, of course. It has got a metaphoric meaning. Dr. Jekyll is a butcher. When someone says that Dr. Jekyll is a butcher, you understand that Dr. Jekyll is not actually working as a butcher, but he might be a surgeon, but the metaphor is surgery is described as butchery because he operates people and, cuts the bodies. So John is a snake in the grass. You understand that the person is not actually a snake, but he is so sneaky, he is so sly and foxy that he is like, going in the grass and you can't see the snake. It has a metaphoric meaning, of course. Metaphors cause lexical ambiguities too. The second type of ambiguity that I'm going to talk about is structural ambiguity. And let me start a new PowerPoint page. Okay, structural ambiguity. Structural ambiguity is caused by the structure of the sentence, not by one word in the sentence, but the whole structure of the sentence. I know a man with a dog who has fleas. I know a man with a dog who has fleas. Who has got the fleas now? Is it the dog or the man who's got the fleas? There's an ambiguity here. Another ambiguity is they hated the shooting of the hunters. They hated the shooting of the hunters. What do they hate? Do they hate the fact that the hunters are shot? Or do they hate the fact that the hunters shoot? Which one? They hated the shooting of the hunters. They hate it because the hunters shoot, or they hate it because the hunters are shot. We don't know. The horse is ready to ride. The horse is ready to ride. What is it? Is it the horse which is going to ride, or is it the horse which is going to be ridden by somebody else? So, the horse is ready for you to ride, or the horse is ready to ride itself. There's an ambiguity. So, I saw John walking to the store this morning. I saw John walking to the store this morning, which means there is an ambiguity, structural ambiguity here. I saw John when I was walking to the store this morning, or I saw John when he was walking to the store this morning. There is an ambiguity. This is an ambiguous sentence, or the English history teacher English history teacher is young. All right, there is an history teacher who is English, or there's a teacher who teaches English history. We don't know. There's an ambiguity. The English history teacher is young. We may have some examples in Turkish too. To begin with, for instance, ağrısız kulak delinir. You may see this sign in the shops. Okay, so which is painless here? The action of having a hole in your ear is painless, or your ear should be painless so we can make a hole in your ear. Okay, that's also an ambiguity. This is very funny. All right, this is a funny and nice example that I like. The invisible man's hair cream is in the plastic bottle. The invisible man's hair cream. What is invisible here? Is it the cream which is invisible, or is it the man who is invisible? The invisible man's hair cream is in the plastic bottle. So such kind of ambiguities are called structural ambiguities. It is caused by the whole structure of the sentence. Okay, now let me carry on with the paraphrase. Paraphrase is usually made with synonyms. Okay, when you want to create a paraphrase, you make it with synonyms. Synonyms are the words which are spelled differently, but they mean the same. Spelled and pronounced in a different way, but they mean more or less the same thing. Paraphrase. Okay, created by synonyms, and synonyms are the words spelled and pronounced differently but mean the same. Okay. Right. For instance, we have some examples of synonyms here. Pedigree, ancestry, genealogy, descent or lineage. Apathetic, phlegmatic, passive, sluggish, indifferent. Or I'll be happy to come, or I'll be glad to come. He's sitting on the sofa, he's sitting on the couch. What does it matter which one you use? There's no real difference between saying he's sitting on the sofa or he's sitting on the couch. But we may say that there are no perfect synonyms. I'm going home. When you say that I'm going home, home might refer to a flat, home might refer to a house, home might refer to even a tent. But however, if you use if you say I'm going to house, then you know exactly what the speaker means. I'm going to sit on a soft place is different, but I'm going to sit in my comfortable armchair is different. I'm going to sit in an armchair, or I'm going to sit on a chair. You know, they may sound like synonyms, but they might mean something different. So, however, we can still create paraphrases by using using the synonyms. For instance, look at those. I'm thrifty, or I'm tight, or I'm stingy. All of them mean more or less the same thing. You don't want to spend money. You want to hold your money in your pockets all the time. I'm thrifty. Are you thrifty? Are you tight, or are you stingy? I'm firm. I'm rigid. I'm obstinate. Okay, here, firm has a better meaning, although they appear to have similar meanings. Firm, rigid, obstinate. An obstinate person resists to change his or her opinions. A rigid person is difficult to persuade, rigid, but firm is a decisive person. When he or she decides something, he doesn't change. Firm, okay, decisive. However, they may be used in place of each other. But sometimes, according to the context, they might mean something different. For example, cheap and inexpensive. Cheap has a negative meaning, but inexpensive has a positive meaning. We went to an inexpensive restaurant, which was nice. Okay? But if you say that we went to a cheap restaurant, cheap doesn't have quality. It may not have quality. It is cheap, but it may not have quality. But inexpensive. It's not expensive, but it is also good quality. Inexpensive bears quality within its inside. Cheap, he is a cheap man, not a very quality man. Okay, paraphrases. Paraphrases are again divided into two. First, lexical paraphrase, you change the word with its synonym, and structural paraphrase, you change the whole structure. How do you do that? If you want to use the lexical paraphrase, you change one word with its synonym. But if you want to create a structural paraphrase, you change the whole structure of the sentence. For example, a man who Carol knows came over to visit. A man came over to visit who Carol knows. Call up your mother right now, or call your mother up right now is a paraphrase. It seems that Dolores is very kind to animals. Dolores seems to be very kind to animals. But in these paraphrases, there's a different sense in the meaning. When you say that Dolores seems to be very kind to animals, you signify Dolores, you emphasize Dolores. But on the other hand, it seems that Dolores is very kind to animals. Then, the signification is not Dolores. The signification is the action. Okay? So therefore, there are differences, although they may mean the same thing, there are differences in paraphrased sentences. Okay, so then, now, semantics deals with not only the meanings, simple lexical meanings of the words, but it deals with the contexts as well. What is a context? A context is when you speak a word, where you speak a word, the place, the setting, the time, and the people to whom you're speaking, the place where you are speaking, the time when you are speaking, constitute the context of your speech. So the context of your speech is basically the environment, the time, setting, and the people among whom you are speaking. Within these characteristics, within these limitations, the meanings are constructed. So your meaning is not always what you want to say. your meaning depends on where you speak, when you speak, and whom you are speaking to. So you cannot control your meaning all the time. When you speak out a word, when you utter a word out of your lips, then it goes out of your control. When you write a letter or when you type a message on your phone and click on the send button, it goes out of your hands. It goes out of your control, definitely. So it's a difficult thing to control the meaning all the time. And another point that I want to make is writing. Semantics also deals with the meanings in writing, the meanings of the words in writing. When you are writing, it is different from your speaking, because in speaking you have the tone of your voice. Can I come in? Somebody says, you say yes, or yes, or do you mind if I sit with you? No. So you're very, very welcoming. Do you mind if I sit with you? No. No, the tone changes the meaning. And when you write it, you cannot add your tone into your writing. So therefore, you may be misunderstood. This is why we use some emoticons. All right, emoticons like smiley face, sad face, crying face, or an angry face next to our sentences all the time to help us to express ourselves better and more clearly. Therefore, the meaning in speaking and the meaning in writing are completely different from one another. On the other hand, semantics also deals with the opposite meanings as well. Not only the same meanings, synonyms, but they also deal with the antonyms. If there are no exact synonyms, there are no exact antonyms, because antonyms, the opposite meanings, have to be related to one another in order to signify that opposition to each other. So most antonyms are in one way or another related to one another. They are interrelated to each other. There are three types of antonyms: gradable antonyms, complementary antonyms, and relational antonyms. Gradable antonyms are graded. They can be compared or contrasted. Complementary antonyms are exactly the opposite of one another. They are exactly contrasts. If you are something, you are definitely not the other thing. If it's day, it is definitely not night. If you are alive, you're definitely not dead. These are complementary antonyms, exact opposites, but gradable opposites are bigger, smaller, younger, older. Relational opposites are the opposites which are related to one another. Teacher, student, wife, husband, man, woman. Man, woman are complementary antonyms. In relational antonyms, you must have that relation between the meanings all the time. So, I see that nobody is joining the classes now, online classes. I don't know if there is a problem in joining, the systematic problem in joining, or maybe it is too early in the morning. But anyway, I will share the video on the department's Facebook page, and you will be able to watch the course, listen to me, and please, when you watch the video, also use the PowerPoint presentation and follow what I am saying and follow my examples in the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so the exam dates are not certain yet. So the university administration is going to send us the exam dates, and you will know how and when we are going to organize the exams. Okay, so this is all for today. See you next week. Oh, by the way, the evening classes also should watch this video. I'm not going to record the evening classes. I'm ending this session. Thank you very much for joining me.